Good morning, crypto family. Hope you guys are having a great morning and a great end of the week. Today we're sitting at 1095 Dogelon Mars. Earlier this morning we're sitting at 1100. Time is ticking. As you know it, time is ticking. I don't want to speed up things, but let's get into this video. As you see, the big printing hasn't even started. Crypto Haze believe this market could run well into 2026, with Trump expected to juice the economy by mid-2026. Let's play this video and hear what he has to say.
You think that this market's going to extend well into 2026, but if things start feeling really euphoric in Q4, are you going to take some profits off the table, or are you going to still hold strong? Or what are you kind of looking for? How are you going to assess your portfolio and make some decisions?
I really care about what is the expectation and trajectory of money printing. And so I don't, my belief is that Trump hasn't even gotten started. He's going to have all the Legos in place to really juice the US economy starting in, middle of 2026. And so the question is, what is the market forward on that money printing? I don't know what that looks like. If I believe that the market's expecting something so insane in terms of the amount of money printing that Trump can do, then okay, I'll take some chips off the table. So I don't have a price level in mind. It's more of a feeling of like, okay, well, is the expectation on the money printing too high or too low? I'm writing a piece right now about the collapse of the euro, predicated by a French default. And so I think there's some other things happening within the global markets that could continue to propel this notion of money printing. And at the background, I have to recognize that we are in the midst of a unipolar to multipolar change in world order. And change for politicians is bad because, what do they do when change happens? They print money to make sure people feel okay. Mm-hmm. And so if I overlay all these things together, I have a very bullish outlook for the amount of money that's going to be printed between now and the end of the decade. The question just becomes, what are the expectations within the crypto ecosystem about, or just a general macro ecosystem about what that is. I think that people are underpricing the upside in equities, in crypto, and everything. They don't realize how badly all these governments need to print money. Yes, it's going to end in absolute Armageddon at the end of the cycle, whenever that is, but I don't think we're there yet.
You think that
you heard him? You don't think we are there yet? Family, it's about to go down. It's about to go down. Michael Saylor says, key to obscene Bitcoin profits is being early enough that 95% of people think you're wrong. And that's how it's been for the last, 4 years for us holders of Dogelon Mars. We have been holding and we have been accumulating a big bag. And, like what he says, 95% of the people around us believe that we are crazy, stupid, anything you could call it, about us holding our digital assets. Our digital assets is our safety net. Our digital assets is our bank. Our digitalized assets is our decentralized bank holdings. We are a decentralized bank. Billionaire Winklevoss brothers just went live on CNBC to explain why everyone should save in Bitcoin, but at the end of the day, why you should save in digital assets and hold.
Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of overlap in the companies, but one of the biggest, coolest products that we have today is the Gemini credit card. I actually brought our Bitcoin orange card that we released in May, and every time you swipe, you can earn Bitcoin or any crypto that we support. And I think that people realize that
up to 4% back.
Up to 4% back.
Yeah. And that's in crypto real-time rewards that hits your account every time you swipe the credit card and buy. So you could buy a flat screen and earn Bitcoin back. And in the future, that Bitcoin could be worth more than the original purchase. So it's much better than...
How do you access that? Or can you, or do you leave it there? Or do most people you find just leave it sitting there?
It's real time. So as soon as someone swipes, that Bitcoin or crypto is in your wallet and you can then spend it or stake it. We think you should hodl it. And in some merchants, we're even offering up to 10% back. So if we think Bitcoin's a 10x from here, So your purchase today at 10% back is actually free.
That's what I have to
tomorrow.
say. When I first heard about this, I thought that's a really interesting way, because it's the equivalent of, you know, rounding up on every dollar you spend or something.
Right.
You're not thinking about what's going there, and you can save it and hold it. And it's,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
well, you're not changing your behavior. You're
You
going
heard
about
what
your
he
day.
said. Smart man. Crypto.com, Coinbase also has it as well. Here's a list of some of the people who became mega rich during the Industrial Revolution. 100 years from now, there will be a similar list of people that were early in crypto. You better lock in, just like us, who were super early in these digital assets, and we will become filthy rich. Now, as you guys see, I'm just going to put it on the screen. The Rockefellers, Carnegies, the Vanderbilts, Morgan, Gold, Huntington, Stanford, Crocker, J. Hill, and Hopkins. Now, the reason why I do this is we are clearly in the middle of a new industrial revolution. European Security Market Authority. Natasha Kazavin, Executive Director, and this is what she says, because they had a conference earlier on, and she says, over the course of this conference, we'll be hearing a lot about new technologies such as artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and their potential to transform our capital markets. I am sure you have all already appreciated how powerful these AI tools can be in our everyday life. We are clearly in the middle of a new industrial revolution. I'm looking forward to learning more about recent trends and new initiatives in the upcoming panels. CZ, the combined market cap of all future money is less than one chip company's market cap. You do the math. And as you guys know, when we say Dogelon Mars will be trending, but not just trending, will be the forefront of digital assets sector. Trump tried to tell Joe Rogan, there's life on Mars, and Joe just brushed it off. Trump was right. There is life on Mars. He knows. I believe I had something. I had it on my page. We'll scroll to that and play it, but let's hear what he has to say.
I get that question as much as almost any question. Do you think that we have aliens coming, flying around or whatever?
What do you think?
There's no reason not to. I mean, there's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life, because
Mars, we've had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there.
Well, maybe it's life that we don't know, but
maybe there was life there at one point in time. This is a speculation about Mars, that Mars had an atmosphere at one point in time, a long time ago, that could support life. It also had large bodies of water, but we've had no evidence of even bacterial life that exists on Mars. But
I get that question as much as
you heard it. Full point rate cut by January. What you guys think? Let's hear what Paul Barron has to say.
So right now, odds on 88.8% as of this morning that we're just going to get a 25 bit cut in this next September 17th. Then we'll see probably another 25 bips in the October meeting and a final 25 bips in the December meeting, and probably pick up another 25 bips in the January meeting. So you'll have 3 to 4 in very short order in the next couple of months.
All right, so that's a full point by January. So this is still all pre-Powell's exit in May of next year.
So right.
BlackRock CIO has called on investors to seek hard assets. The tides are shifting, and it's important to be holding the right assets as the total market cap seeks a higher markup.
Why BlackRock CIO is essentially saying, look, get hard assets.
The government is basically unfixable.
Elon, only
you can hear David Sachs there kind of, trying to avert that comment. But that's the game here, right? It's continued proliferation, devaluation, impoverishment. And I believe, and that's why this channel exists, through investing in assets, the right assets, the well-positioned assets like crypto, which is going to benefit from this kind of technological global wealth transfer. You can arbitrage that brokenness of the system. In fact, you can work with it, not against it. And you can be better positioned to deal if you can create that financial freedom that enslaves a lot of people. If you can essentially solve that equation, you can deal with things in life that get thrown at you far more efficiently. I've been very broke and I've had no money. I've had a lot of money. And crypto's enabled that. Life is a lot easier with money. Yes, it doesn't buy happiness, but it certainly is a philosophical one today, isn't it, guys? Crypto's concerned. You all know the plan, ladies and gents. Bitcoin is going up, 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 just like BlackRock's CIO said there. And the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, is my favorite chart. This is a cup and handle. We've done the cup and handle course now on Patreon. Do go and check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to love and leave you on that note.
You heard him. This will make for a clean and swift transfer of BlackRock's assets to the Treasury and ultimately the American people via the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Nasara Gassara. Stop playing them games, man.
If you look at the failure of fiat currencies, they don't gradually fail. They fail spectacularly. And this is the premise behind the 1 million Bitcoin call, that it's not going to be a gradual, slow increase to $1 million a coin, but rather a very short and violent upheaval that sends us there in a matter of months, weeks to months. If you look at the failure of fiat currencies,
when I say Dogelon Mars could shoot up to a penny to 5 cents, weeks to months, not years. Definitely not years.
You should really look at the pattern of Bitcoin after a halving. So here's a little Bitcoin price analysis for you guys. So there's been a couple of halving cycles that have happened. And I asked him to go back and look at the price performance 1 month after a halving, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and 18 months after a halving. And what you notice is that there are these moments initially where essentially when you go through a Bitcoin halving, people are sort of reassessing what's happening and they're trying to figure it out. That's sort of what I would say happens in the first month and roughly what also happens in the first 3 months. But then within 6 months to a year and 18 months of these things, there are these crazy price appreciation cycles that happen. So that's what this page shows, which is, 18 months after the first halving, the Bitcoin price returned 45x. After the second halving, it returned almost 28x. And after this third halving, it returned almost an 8x, which is really incredible returns in such a short period of time. If you go to the next page. And so if you graph that, this is what it starts to show, which is what is this price performance after each of these halving cycles. Now, why is that interesting? Well, it's interesting because on top of this halving, which theoretically, if history is a guide, we should see some price appreciation. Obviously, the other thing that's happened is we've commercialized Bitcoin. And we talked about this sort of as my big prediction for 2024, which is these ETFs are really going to allow Bitcoin to cross the chasm and have its sort of central key moment, right? And so if you apply the averages, and again, these are just averages, they're by no means predictions. Okay, so I just want to qualify that.
Yeah,
these are
this
just
is not financial advice.
It's not financial advice. These are just guesses. Data. We took these and we applied it to the price of Bitcoin. And if you go to the next page, you start to see what could happen if you just take the average of the last few cycles. So because the first cycle was so extreme, and you start to
so you're just doing cycle 2 and 3 here, to be clear.
Just the averages of cycle 2 and 3, and what you start to see is some really meaningful appreciation. And when I talked to Wences about this, how he explained it, which makes a lot of sense to me, is there are a lot of countries that will never look at Bitcoin credibly, even if they support it. The US may be one of those, but there's an increasing body of countries that will become dual currency. And they will look at their local currency, and then they will look at Bitcoin. And they will say both of these two things are needed. One, when you're transacting on a daily basis for random goods and services. And two, when you need to buy a permanent asset that needs to have residual value, you'll use something like BTC. And I think that's a very powerful concept. And if you look at what this price chart could indicate, is that if this thing starts to get to these levels of appreciation, it is going to completely replace gold and start to become
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys seen it. Hold on, baby. You guys seen what's going on, man. So hold on your back.
They don't gradually fail. They fail.
Hold on. Our time is about to go crazy. Love you guys. Let's run it up.
Right now, on November 8th, I announced that when Mr. Trump, whether you love him or hate him, this was the beginning of the greatest transformation of wealth the world has ever fucking seen since World War II. See, I know what he was going to do. I know what he's going to do now. And he hasn't even got started. Now, what are you going to tell your kids and your grandkids 25 years from now when they say, gee, Daddy, gee, Grandpa, what were you doing other than having your thumb up your big fucking ass during the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of the world? What were you fucking doing? Fuck all, nothing. That's what most of you will tell them, your grandchildren and your children. It's never going to get any better than this, kids. This is the, as I said on YouTube, the eye of the perfect motherfucking storm. This is it. I never thought I'd live to see it again. This is going to make the 80s look like a nursery rhyme, which I praise Allah, praise Buddha, praise God. I participated in slashing and raping everybody in the 80s, legally. This is going to make that look like a fucking nursery rhyme. And what are you going to tell your kids? Oh, I had to spreadsheet it. I had to think about it. I had to read another book on M&A, you fucking morons. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.